Let's talk about China versus stablecoins today. We'll break it down for you. What does this mean for the crypto market? My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back into the show. I want to thank our sponsor today, and that is Tangem. This is where you guys can get into self-custody. And one of the things you should consider on self-custody is you want a wallet that works in conjunction with your phone. That helps you create more security, and it also creates a lot of ease of use. So check it out. Use our link down below. It's going to get you into the Tangem website. And all you have to do is click that Get Tangem button. It's going to get you into the 3-card set. Get that one. It's the way to go. That way you have the, the extra there. And it works very simply. It's going to get you on your journey to self-custody. Let's get into it today. This is an article that is stocked full of issues that the Chinese government is now in play on. Chinese firms now may face limitations on stablecoin activity in Hong Kong. And within this, I'll zoom in on this to kind of give you guys an idea. This is according to a Thursday report by a local news outlet. This is a news outlet that kind of reports on where things are happening within mainland China. And firms are now operating in Hong Kong may be forced to withdraw from the cryptocurrency related activities. There are 77 institutions that expressed interest in applying. This is in reference to the stablecoin structure that was being built. And then Chinese banks and other institutions now are applying for a Hong Kong stablecoin license. All of that is going to be going away. Further in the article, a source familiar with the matter said, don't worry, don't rush into any participation. This is in reference to around stablecoin businesses. Cointelegraph reached out to HKMA for a comment, but could not get a response. And then now restrictions will also be placed on investments by those companies in any kind of crypto or crypto exchanges. So not only are they saying back away from stablecoins, but also any of these companies who are holding digital assets acting now will be asked to back away from it. Early August, Chinese authorities reportedly also instructed local firms to cease publishing research and holding seminars related to stablecoins. That's the kind of oppression that they've put onto crypto and stablecoins. This, of course, slows down everything in China, but it does push everything over to a centralized bank's digital asset or digital currency, a CBDC. And I think that's what we're dealing with right now. Further into the report, let me go over to this right here, because this was HKMA announcing stablecoin issuer. This was the sandbox participants. And you guys will probably remember Animoca Brands was part of this. So it looks like that would be terminated. And Animoca's Brands, who we've had Yatsu on the show many times, may be forced into another strategy here. So what this boils down to is China basically panicking because of the growth that we've seen in stablecoins already, just in a very short period of time, but also the fact that the country is faced with a deflationary situation. And this is where it gets interesting. If you look at some of the charts here, let me kind of just jump over to this one. This is the deflation or the inflation rate there in China. As you can see, this is where deflation began. But remember, this was kind of their Chinese New Year. This was a whole, component of where you see a big bump in economic activity. But in reality, this was the regression off of that. So if you were to balance that out, a lot of analysts say this is really probably going to be like a 0.1. So this would have been going back for the entire year of 2025. And where we are now in August to its biggest drop down to negative 0.4. So this means that what you're dealing with in terms of a deflationary economy, the kind of impact that this would have, and I'll show you a video on this, this explains a little bit more of what it really looks like. Take a look.
Hotels across the country have started selling food from their restaurants on the street. This is a way to drum up business amid a consumer spending slump.
We used to sell only 60 to 70 a day, Wang says. Now we sell around 200, but at cut prices. Before, each cost $8. Today, $5.30. Falling prices is a problem across China's economy. Excess capacity across industries.
Food delivery is one of the most fiercely competitive battlefields.
All are offering coupon discounts, bringing prices down.
This superstore of secondhand luxury products opened just this summer in the heart of Beijing.
We hardly go to the luxury stores anymore, she says, so why not shop at places like this and save?
The government is worried that deflation could become entrenched, so the authorities have been stepping in with a combination of pressure as well as price controls to try to control what they've described as excessive competition. Frank?
It's the whole blind box crate with the boo-boos. It seems like people are willing to spend there, and they're willing to spend pretty freely, but in other areas, they're looking to cut back.
It's not in a crisis in the way that you see sudden massive job losses and it's all over the news or something, but people just feel it day to day. I think I'm just going to be a little bit more measured, and I think that's how the kind of the affordable splurge of a blind box fits in.
So as you can see, what this does is it continues to push prices down, which creates excessive competition. This eventually will put businesses out of business. And that, of course, gets into kind of this whole cascading effect that could immediately cause pressure, which is why we're seeing the reaction we are right now. Other things that are happening is China is investigating their former stock market regulator. This, of course, is similar to our SEC. So we're already seeing the kind of corruption there that in often cases we see here in the United States. But the point is that this is happening in multi-levels there in China. We've got the SEC and NASDAQ both who have been putting a lot more pressure on Chinese stocks for stock fraud. This, of course, is starting to escalate. Most likely we're going to see some actions on this pretty quickly. I'm going to go to a clip real quick because this is some of the legislatures that are starting to take a look at this. Watch this one.
Will you ask for those stocks, Chinese stocks, to be delisted from American exchanges?
Yeah, that's one possibility, and we don't want the exposure from companies that are not providing the information needed for a typical listing on the U.S.
Is all this part of the trade negotiations?
Potentially, although we aren't as state financial officers.
All right, so this was the Utah State rep that was hinting at that. Point being is that a lot of these states have pension funds, et cetera, that are layering into some of these kind of stocks, so they're trying to protect those investors. That's something that could get a little bit more broad-based. RFK, in fact, is already started to go after some of the consumer products. Take a look at this one.
Chinese products flooded the market. Only 27% have FDA approval. These products are illegal in China, and they're dumping them here in our country. And the Chinese are getting richer while our children get sicker. The result is today we are doing raids, these kind of operations across the country, to confiscate the base.
All right, so you can see there's activity across all of government now that are really taking a harder, closer and closer look to what's happening, not only in the publicly traded companies, but in general, how a lot of these supply and manufacturing companies are dealing with this. You combine that with deflation, you combine that with control on digital assets now, that starts to create a bigger factor. I still think we are not seeing the effect of China because most of the crypto market worldwide has already counted China out. Now, it'd be great if they jump in, but they are not necessarily making that play. Now, when you talk about countries trying to jump in, well, the Market Structure Act is now in play. We'll most likely see some more pressure on this. However, John Kennedy comes in and says GOP is not ready to advance the crypto bill just yet because the banks are calling for more time. So this is something that we've talked about before, guys, is that the banks do have a very powerful lobbying group. It could be one of those things where they do slow things down, especially in market structure. All right, so I want to jump into our next sector here because this will start to play into how Japan's actually playing a role in this. Before I do that, I do want to thank our sponsor, and that is Gemini. You guys can go out there and get the Gemini credit card, and you can start earning crypto rewards. And this is pretty much any crypto you want. This right here is showing the XRP edition, but you can get this for Bitcoin, Ethereum, anything you like out there. Use the link down below. It does help us, and it's going to get you some additional bonuses, up to 4% on certain purchases. So that's a pretty big deal. And you can change your token that you want to receive those rewards in on the fly. So switch it around as markets move. Like right now, you might be on Solana. Solana's trading hot. That's the way you can use it. Now, going over to Japan, they've started accepting payments. This, of course, is the next generation credit card that they're launching, and it's called Nudge, speaking of credit cards. This is their first stablecoin. This is the JPYC. This is a point where Japan is actually going the alternate route and going all in on where this is going. And I think when you compare what they're doing versus what we've seen in China, the Japanese market could end up being one of the meccas for blockchain in a very short period of time. Here is them talking about, thank you for all the responses. As noted, this is a prepaid type credit card, but it's actually a credit-based credit card and a pay later option. That's something that I think we'll see more of. Interesting that we're going to see this on a stable coin. Imagine if you had one of these with Tether or USDC, et cetera, many of the companies out there. Eventually, I think we'll see some of these start to take place elsewhere. The other thing you got to look at is the fact that they're making this very friendly to the Japanese market, because that is a huge anime market. This just shows you some of the card prints that they're using. That will probably create some adoption, because anime is absolutely huge in those markets. And you take that and you compare it to just some of the other aspects of what they're doing from an education standpoint. This is one of the biggest conferences there. Guess who's keynoting right there? Vitalik Buterin, that of course being ETH. But if you look through all of the speakers, and I want to go down to the sponsors, it goes way down, boom, Sonium. Everybody recognizes this? Well, we talked about this not too long ago, and it's supporting the ETH ecosystem. If you look further into this, there's the stablecoin right there supporting Ethereum. And this is kind of interesting, because now it's kind of an all-in scenario where the Chinese are over restricting the potential growth of blockchain, the Japanese absolutely on the other side of things. And of course, Animoca Brand, guess what they just announced? They're doing a full-scale digital asset treasury support now, and they're going to list this in the Japanese market. So this is just another, maybe this is the strategy that Yatsu and the team over there is going to take, is shifting and pivoting to Japan for this. And this is a video we did not too long ago that was basically showcasing this, and that was the Japanese going all in on crypto and how Sonium would be a big part of this. So go back and watch that video, because it's a good one to check out. We did it a few weeks back. But it does put you in a position right now to understand this is becoming a global war in terms of finance. And crypto is dead in the bullseye right now. Fortunately, the United States at least has woken up. We're starting to see a lot of activity on that. You look at just where Ethereum is right now, starting to hedge up a little bit, trading at around 44.22. And this might be, you know, as we start to see these adoption cycles start to take place, especially with countries like Japan and others, maybe this is the trigger that we start to see big moves, other than what we'll see with most likely the Fed next week. All right, if you guys are not part of the Diamond Circle, make sure and get in right now. It's a great place to get additional content from us. We do an email there. It's very easy to join, and it's free. So do that, and we'll leave the link down below. Of course, follow me on X, @Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time right here on The Paul Barron Show.